Today we're going to talk about how you can check your computer ports on your computer uh, and how you know if your computer ports on your computer is secure. For anybody that doesn't know what a port is on a computer, whenever you browse the internet you use port 80 and port 1080. Whenever you use an email you use a port. Whenever you use a printer you use a port. And that's basically how a computer port works. Call them doors as if you're living in a house. Basically you don't want to leave your ports open. That's unnecessarily, because it allows a malicious person to gain access to your computer. So here I'm using Fedora 14 Linux, which is based on Red Hat Linux. It is a free distro Linux operating system, as there are many out there. I have done a video on Ubuntu Linux. If you go to YouTube and type in Justin TV Ports.Pccareman, you'll see a number of videos I have done. Okay, so this is Fedora 14 Linux based on Red Hat. It's an open source platform. Okay, so whether you're using Linux, a Mac computer, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, you can still check the ports on your computer by doing a few simple steps. First thing you want to do is open your browser. Now you'll notice that I use Firefox browser because it is more secure. Also I have the option, if I go to Tools, I can click Start Private Browsing, which basically does not save any cookies or data on your computer, and it is more secure if you're going to buy or do your shopping online. So the first thing you want to do is type in Security Now. And you will notice here it says GRC website Security Now. Now this website is owned by a guy called Steve Gibson, who I've been following for many years, and this guy, in my opinion, is an expert in computer security. And when you go here it'll say Security Now website, and I just want to explain this website to you because there is a lot of advantages on this website that can be of good use to yourself. Also, it is a good website for educating yourself on different things to do with technology. Now, for the first time, if you have never went to this website, you'll notice that in 2005, these are all podcasts, and as the worm turns, in 2005 was the first internet worm in 2005. Now, what is a worm? A computer worm. A computer worm is a program that is designed either to delete the data on your computer and cause a lot of damage to your hard drive, and is designed for malicious purposes to steal information and etc. So if what you want to suggest you do, you can read the notes on it here. If you left click to view the text transcript as a web page, you will notice that these are the notes of each podcast that is done. A podcast is an MP3 where basically if you want to listen to it, you can right click it or you can double click it. If you double click it and you don't want to save it to your computer, you can listen to it online. And I don't think I have the plugins to listen to it online at the minute because I'm using Fedora. But you won't have any problem if you're using a Mac computer or a Windows computer. Let me try it this way. Obviously I need what they call an MP3 decoder for my Linux. Now, a lot of Linuxes do come with the MP3 decoders on them. It's just that Fedora is not for your basic user because it is more of an advanced Linux system. So if you right click it and save the link as, you can download it to your downloads and you can listen to it at your leisure. Now, by listening to these podcasts, you're going to learn quite a lot about computers and about technology. Okay. Also, you've got honey monkeys. Okay, you're probably saying what the hell is honey monkeys are. Sorry for cursing, what the heck is honey monkeys? Okay, you want to listen to it. Also, you've got a podcast here to do with not routers as firewalls, and it will explain to you about malicious traffic and how a firewall and not firewall works. Now, to give you a brief description of this, a NAT firewall is basically your hardware firewall that's supplied to you as like a broadband router whenever you connect to an ISP, an internet service provider. Now, some firewalls don't have what they call hardware firewalls, or should I say some routers don't have them, and some do, depending on what you're using. A hardware firewall is basically an SP1 firewall that is built into your firewall router to give you that more security of your internet system. So listen to these podcasts, and this one here will explain dental DOS service attacks, which we have heard on TV, how certain websites are taken down and etc. Rootkits is another very important one, because to gain access to your computer you do need a rootkit installed in some computers, and that lets the bad guys take control of your computer. Most of this stuff is done without your knowing, so by understanding and educating yourself and listening to them. Now, there's quite a number of them here. Some of them do last up to 40 minutes and some last longer. I would advise that you do have a notebook beside you, because there is quite a lot of good useful notes that you can use. So to give you a rough description of how this website works, it's Gibson Research Corporation. Okay, it is a guy called Steve Gibson. And if you click here, what are we about, you will get a lot of details. Now, the one that I'm going to talk about today is called Shields Up. So if you go to services here and go to Shields Up, now you will see my IP address, but as soon as I finish this broadcast, obviously I will have renewed my IP address for security reasons. Okay, so welcome to Shields Up, and it says here, if you have not visited for some time, please note that. Okay, now there's a thing here about perfect passwords. Okay, and there's says about security now, which is the podcasts. So give you now a brief an idea how to use this. Okay, first thing you want to do is read this. This here would be my network, and click proceed. And give it a bit of time to load up depending on your internet connection. Now, this is called Shields Up. Okay, and what I normally do is, if I buy a new computer, or if someone is not 100% sure if their system is secured, this is one of the things I would use to check their computer security. The very first thing you want to do is have a read at the documentation, so you give you a wee bit more understanding. When you've done that, go to file sharing and click file sharing. Now, this is the IP address that I'm using at the minute, but as I say, I will be changing it very soon for security reasons. Okay, now Shields Up is checking your computer's internet connection securely. Okay, and it says attempting to connect to your computer. Your internet port 139 does not appear to exist. Unable to connect with NetBIOS on your computer. That is exactly what you want, the same as I have here. The next one you want to do is check your common ports. The Internet Common Ports probe attempt to establish a connection. Establish a standard TCP internet connection with a collection of standard, well-known and other vulnerables. Okay, so what you're looking for is what I have. Okay, port 0 stealth. Okay, you want to make sure that all these ports are stealth. And it says there's no evidence whatsoever that a port or even a computer exists at this IP address. Now this is my details. This is my details, okay? And I have passed. So if you notice that any of these ports are open, and you read the documentation, you will find out how you can actually close that port and make it more secure. The next one you want to do is your service ports. And what you're looking for is stealth. If it's red, it's open. If it's blue, it's closed. Excuse me. So give it a bit of time, and as you noticed here, it is starting to scan the ports on my computer. As I say, don't worry about my IP address because it will be changed within a couple of seconds after the video is, or even before the video is sent up. So don't worry about that end of it on my security point because I'm not that stupid. So what you're looking for is stealth. Now, Windows XP and Windows Vista and Windows 7 comes with services, okay? And if you go to Control Panel and go to Administrative, then go to Services, you will find that there's a number of services on Windows XP, Windows 7 and Windows Vista that is open that you do not need, and there is a way of closing them, which I'll explain in a later video. So it has scanned up to 1055 ports, and I am in stealth and it passed, okay? Your system has achieved a perfect true stealth rating, which means them ports do not exist on the internet. So if someone is using a port scanner and they were trying to gain access to my computer by using these ports, they wouldn't be able to reach me, and that's exactly what you want, okay? Now your ISP does block a certain amount of ports in your computer for security, but there's also a certain amount of ports on your computer that is your responsibility. Now there's also quite a number of other tests you can do here. You can spam yourself in Messenger spam, and you can also check your browser headings, which also give out a certain amount of information, whether you're using Firefox, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, and all these details can be gathered and can be used at a later date by the bad guys using certain programmers to gain access to your computer. Now, no computer is 100% secure, but a few simple steps can make it that wee bit harder, and this is one of them that I'm showing you at the minute. Now, there's also a few other services here. One of them is called a DNS spoofing test, and these are all free, supplied by GRC website. Now if you take a few minutes, you can actually read what is a DNS spoofing test. It's basically, in my opinion, someone spoofing a DNS to your system. So I'm going to initial a standard DNS spoofing test to see exactly what's going on. Now, if you don't understand this, I would advise you to read the documentation before you actually use it. If you do think that you have a problem with your computer and you're not too sure how to secure it, add Ports.Pccareman myself to your Skype. Tell me who you are. Tell me what your problem is, and I'll be quite happy to use a program called Team Server, which is very secure, and go remote access with you, and you will actually see everything that I do on your computer, and I will help you to secure your system free of charge. There's no catch. That's what I do, is help people, because I believe the less computers that are infected, the better for me. It makes it harder for the bad guys to use infected computers as what they call zombie computers to attack other systems. Now, I have received a moderate, okay, and I'm quite happy with that. It gives you a query source port analyze here. Excellent and moderate, okay. Extract rental speaking is not present. Okay, so take a wee bit of time. It's very easy to understand. It just takes that wee bit of time to read it. There's another couple I'm looking for here. You can also do a leak test that'll check your firewall system to find out how good it is. Next one I'm going to do is what they call a router crash test. Now, basically, this is all done from Steve's servers, and you are 100% secure on this system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to crash my router to see how secure my broadband router is, or broadband hub is supplied by my internet service provider. So I'm now crash testing my internet router. Now, some people have said to me in the past that their internet router has disconnected or has went down. Sometimes there's what they call script kiddies, people that like to have a laugh on the internet, people that like to think it's a bit of a joke by trying to crash your system to play games with you. Okay, so it says here your router survived. So my router is well protected against a crash test, against somebody trying to crash my system. So I'll leave it at them couple. Now you've got a DNS benchmark test, and you've got frequent questions and answers. So if you find that this is too technical for you, don't be afraid to, now you can download the audio files here. Don't be afraid to add Pccareman to your Skype, and I'll be quite happy to tell you. Now, very important thing that you must do with your broadband router. Now, for anybody that's not too sure what a broadband router is, I will show you in 2 seconds here. There's many different types, okay. So we'll use Google Images just to give you an idea of what a broadband router is. Now these are broadband routers. There's many different types, okay, many different types. It depends on your internet service provider what they supply you with, or you can buy your own. Now obviously, if you're buying your own, personally speaking, I would be looking for something with a good hardware firewall system in it. The best you can get if you've got that sort of money to spend, especially if you have a business. And there is quite a number of ways of also securing your system by tightening up your router settings. So these are different types of broadband routers. Now, most of these broadband routers come by default settings, which means that the password is usually the word admin or the word password. So I would advise you to read the documentation of your router supplied, if you're with Sky or if you're with BT or whoever you're with. And I would advise you to go in and change the settings on your router to make it a wee bit more secure. Basically, you want to change the default password on your router and the default wireless key on your router. Now, if we go back to this website here and we go to what they call perfect passwords, These are the sort of passwords that you want to be using. Okay. I personally would go for the middle one, the 63 random, but any one of them would particularly do. So what I would suggest, what I would do is I would go like this, I would highlight it, I would copy, I would go into my router settings and I would paste it in. Now, I wouldn't particularly, personally speaking, worry about remembering it, because all broadband routers have what they call a reset button. And usually when you set up your router secure, you don't have to go back into it, unless you want to start going through networking and stuff, but you normally would do all that first. So if I was to lose that password, I could press the small reset button on the back of the router and it will reset it back to default. So personally speaking, I don't save any passwords on my computer. On the off chance that somebody does gain access to my system, they're not going to get anything. But that's just the way that I do it myself. Now you will notice that when I refresh the page, all these passwords change. So don't be worrying about somebody else getting it, because they automatically change. So it's a GRC ultra high security password generator that Steve has put in for our benefits, free of cost. Now I'm going to mention a piece of software here. It's not designed by me, it is designed by GRC website. And the reason I'm going to mention it is because for years I have been using computers. And everybody knows, one second please. Right, we're going to mention this piece of software to you, and the reason I'm going to mention it is because everybody knows that whether it's a laptop or desktop computer, every computer can crash. It's awful when you have to try and restart your computer, you get a blue screen of death or a black screen of death, and you don't have a spare computer to find out what it is. And what do? If you've got information on it, you haven't got it backed up, you've lost it. So there's a program here that it took me quite a number of years to get it, because it just didn't have the money at that time. And I'm just going to find it. It's called SpinRite. Now, SpinRite is designed by GRC website, and for years I kept holding off, and it's basically a recovery program. It's got its own binary DOS built in it, which basically you boot from the disk if your operating system doesn't start, and you use the SpinRite, and it does bring your system back to life. People have had information on their computers and they have lost it. So there's programs on the internet are free, but none of them does this particular program. Now I'm not getting anything for selling this, I'm not getting anything for advertising. I'm advertising because I bought it myself and it's definitely worth the money. Okay? If you want to find out exactly what it is, if you click this small player here, you can download both videos or you can watch them. What does it say?
Security expert Steve Gibson here to give us a glimpse into his software, SpinRite. It's a hard disk utility software that has lately become more and more of a recovery program. I mean, really become a valuable recovery program.
Well, and long-term maintenance too, because it'll keep your drive from dying.
Steve, how long ago did you write the first SpinRite?
16 years ago.
16 years ago. SpinRite 1.
Yeah, SpinRite 1.
I had a copy.
I remember RLL.
Now, I run this on my computers at least once a month. And it is with the money, to be honest with you. It might be a wee bit dear for some people, but it is with the money. Because what price can you put on a computer if your hard drive goes? And I have used this on hard drives that I have had for 6-7 years, and it has actually brought them back to life. So if you watch this video here, It'll give you an understanding, and this is a guy here, Steve, that we're using that has supplied Shields Up website on perfect passwords and etc. And this guy does a podcast every week, and if there's anything comes out about security alerts, he talks about it. He tells you what to do, and it is very, very useful information. The other guy you've seen in the video is a guy called Leo Laporte, Twit, T-W-I-T. He also has a live video room, and he's also one of the guys, and this guy here, that has taught me everything that I know over the years. So you can watch both of the videos. You can also, what do we say, go to frequently asked questions, and you can read all about it, and you actually buy it from this website, and it is very secure. And this here is a customer's feedback button, and you will get a lot of information. Now friends, I have bought this myself, and it has stopped me with my money. You buy it a one-off, you'll never need it again. You'll always have it if anything happens in your office or anything happens with your computer. So have a look at it and see what you think. Okay, so I just thought I would sort of try and help you today on some of the things that you can do to protect your computer system. Now, if you bring up your browser and you type in, now, I was on a chat room last night, and a friend of mine thinks that somebody's getting access to their computer. But she's using a wireless connection. She has a WPA2 encryption, and there is a number of ways to find out if someone is using access to your computer. Now, some people might not have their Wi-Fi connection, their wireless connection encrypted. I would advise you to encrypt it, because if someone is outside your home, between 150 meters roughly from your house, they can sit and use your internet connection free of cost, which is not a good thing. It's called piggybacking your wireless system, okay? So you want to secure your system by taking them couple of steps. It does help, okay? And thank you very much for listening to this podcast. So let me stop this video.